I just want to, I was going to remind you that you'll be recorded tonight, but I think you've probably already seen it pop up on your screen. So just a reminder, lots of smiles. We want to see it. And you are being recorded. Okay, so I want to say officially, welcome to this program that is brought to you by the Town of Vienna Economic Development Division, Fairfax County's Patrick Henry Library, the Vienna Business Association, and the Fairfax County Department of Economic Initiatives. All four of us work together to bring this great program to you and small businesses in the town and in Fairfax County. So as you know, we started our journey last Monday, which seems like so long ago. I don't know why. But on Monday night, we started our all-star panelists and speakers that are bringing content about social media, marketing, website creation, and we're still on the topic of social media this week. And so the whole point of the series is just to help you feel better about how you're going to market your business, how do you maximize your brand, and how do you create an effective social media and web presence. And so tonight we're still continuing that conversation with our great speaker, and I'll tell you a little bit more about her a little later. Just want to remind you that Mondays, Wednesdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. will be our session series, and we'll leave time at the end for question and answer. And of course, we want you to be involved in the discussions. Work with us on the chat. Do not be shy. We want to hear from you. So please do put your comments and questions in the chat. I also want to remind you of this great opportunity to join us for a mixer on Thursday, May 26th. That's the last day of our session series, but this one is different because you can meet us in person. I would love to meet you in person, first of all, and I'm sure all of our sponsors and hosts do as well. And so it's going to be the same time as every night that we've been meeting virtually, starting at 6 p.m. at the American Legion. We will send out an email with the address and other logistics. I just want to remind you that everyone is welcome to the mixer. It's also an opportunity to pitch your business. And the reason why we're offering a pitch is because it's kind of a culmination of everything that you've learned and discussed in these 4 sessions. So we're talking about brand effectiveness of your messaging. Well, this is a time to really try it out, and you will have back our first speaker, Marisa Potts, and then joining her will be Coach Powell. And so if you would like to be amongst the pitches of that evening, we're having up to 15 or 20. I'm still waiting for a lot of you guys to sign up for that. And I'm going to put the link in the chat a little later, and you can go ahead and let us know that you're interested in pitching that evening. And I really hope to see some of you kind of, be brave, be courageous. It's not going to be scary. We do want to see you up there and pitching, and it's going to be really friendly audience. So do not worry about it being a scary event. And then finally, I would like to just talk a little bit more about our partners before we get started. So give me a second to pull up my notes. So throughout these sessions, you're going to get an opportunity to meet all 4 of our hosts. So on Monday night, you heard from Deb Smith-Cohen at the Patrick Henry Library. And Deb, please raise your hand. I hope that we can see you, Deb. So let me pull up my note about Deb. Okay, so Deb is the assistant branch manager for the Fairfax County Patrick Henry Library. You heard about her and the library on Monday night. And as the branch manager, she's actually worked for the Fairfax County Public Library System at various branches, not just the Patrick Henry Library one that's right here in the town of Vienna, for 14 years. That's amazing government and public service. And she's excellent in helping entrepreneurs find a wide range of library business resources that are available to you. I hope that you connect with Deb because there are a lot of free resources at your local library to help support your business. Okay, next I want to introduce you or reintroduce you to Peggy James. Peggy James is raising her hand right now, and she is the executive director of the Vienna Business Association. The Vienna Business Association is like the town's local business chamber, and she's also the executive director of the Greater Merrifield Business Association. So if you're in Merrifield, hello. Now, as the director of the VBA, for short, this is a member-based organization. And Peggy not just supports the members of the VBA, but also generally all the businesses that are in the town of Vienna. And she's also a great resource for those that are looking to connect with other business owners that are in not just Vienna, the greater Vienna area, but also Merrifield. So I hope you'll connect also with Peggy if you are interested in doing some additional networking. And then I also want to talk about my other colleague in economic development, Megan Keeper. So Megan is the manager of the Small and Local Business Division of Fairfax County Department of Economic Initiatives. I know that sounds like a mouthful, but believe me, they do awesome work. And with her team, she provides free individual guidance for emerging and evolving businesses, and she ensures their awareness of business-specific requirements and available resources that are for you on the local, state, and federal level. Great resource on the county level, and also very knowledgeable, not just about county level resources, but also what's going on in our greater national wide interest for business. And Megan is working in a department that's very similar to my department, which is working for the town of Vienna in economic development. The difference is that I do work specifically for the town of Vienna and supports the businesses that are in the town of Vienna's borders. And so I work for the local government here in the town. And in this role, I too support our emerging business community and entrepreneurs. But I overall am looking at the big picture for our commercial areas and how do we make the town of Vienna commercial area vibrant and bright. And so we do that through some of these programs that you'll see that we're hosting together with all of these great resources and partners. And then also thinking about ways to support you through marketing, promotion, and even policy. So if you have any questions at all, if you are a Vienna business, I'm absolutely one of your liaisons to not just the town of Vienna government, which means any department in town of Vienna, but also to resources on the federal, local, and state level. And sometimes I do work with the Fairfax County Department of Economic Initiatives. And I know that when it's Megan's turn to talk about Fairfax County, she'll be able to share some really great resources with you that a lot of town of Vienna businesses have already gotten a lot of great resources from. So thank you, Megan, thank you, Deb, and thank you, Peggy, for your partnership. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about housekeeping. You're already doing it. Thank you so much for keeping your mic on. And please continue to do so during the presentation unless our speaker asks for your voices to be heard. And I mean verbally, not necessarily in the chat. I want to hear you in the chat, please do. And you can submit all your questions there for our Q&A at the end. And then it's really important that every time you come into this room, that you do have your name that you registered with. That's what we're looking at when we allow or admit people in the waiting room. Okay, so I've done a lot of talking. It's time to hear from you. So let's move into our poll question for the night. Deb, could you help me out, please? Okay, so very soon, a poll question. Oh, the poll question has already hit your screen. Tonight's poll question, of course, it's related to the topic. We want to know what scares you most about social media. Please answer. We're looking for 100% participation, of course. So far, so good. Half of us have participated. Tell us what you think. Okay, this is really good. I love the participation. We're almost there. Okay, so, okay, we're moving on to,
You ready for
okay,
me to, you ready for me to end it?
not yet. I'm going to take a
Okay.
screenshot of the,
Okay.
I'm going to try to take a screenshot of this so that you have it. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Give me 1 second, everyone.
Okay.
Did you get it?
Yep. And
Okay. So do you want me to, can I share the results?
no, I'm just going to hit it now. There we go.
Got it. Okay. So what scares us the most? Our top response, too many platforms. Yeah, I hear you. And then hard to measure effectiveness and loss of control coming in third. This is really good informative feedback from this crew. I think so, Mattia, right? And so thank you all for participating in our poll tonight. I'm pretty sure, no, I'm absolutely sure that after you hear from our speaker tonight, some of those fears will go away. I was going to say completely, but they might be there just a little bit. So tonight, I want to introduce our speaker, Mattia Johnson-Buggs. She is the CEO and founder of Innovative Minds Media Branding Agency, and she's actually a native Washingtonian. She's a strategic communication specialist, visual design specialist, and she's a brand mentor with over 10 years of experience in program development, graphic design, and strategic communications in both government and nonprofit fields. And she has an undergraduate degree in English and Communications from Marymount University in Arlington. We are both English degree majors, Mattia. And she also has a master's degree in producing film and video from American University in Washington. So Mattia has worked and collaborated with several brands in DC, from strategic development to website design and content creation. And she has developed a niche for branding and has established Innovative Minds Media, which is DC's premier branding agency for creative entrepreneurs who are making waves in their industry. She has some highlights from her professional career, and that includes coordinating strategic and tactical communications to accelerate program and membership growth within nonprofits. She's also utilized digital analytics to track and evaluate social media traffic and marketing efforts. And she's also overseen training courses for the international government field. So Mattia has a lot of experience, is well qualified to walk us through this minefield of social media management. Please help us, Mattia. We really need you. And I want to welcome you to our speaker series tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. What an intro. Natalie, thank you. Thank you, Peggy. Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Megan. I am so grateful to be here tonight to talk to you guys about social media, which is an awesome topic. It's a heavy topic and it's challenging, but it's also rewarding. So tonight, we're just going to go ahead and jump into the weeds. I want to thank everyone for participating in the poll. I see that the most scariest thing about social media was the fact that it's too many platforms, right? And tonight we're going to be diving into those platforms to really learn about the whole makeup of them. Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, and also Twitter. We're going to be looking into those. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys tonight. And I see in the chat, it does say, please help Mattia. I'm more than happy to. I am going to share my screen with you really quickly and go ahead and get the presentation up. So as mentioned, tonight I will be talking about digital marketing strategy, and social media, discovering the different platforms and why brand strategy is so important. And I would be forgetful if I didn't talk a little bit about me on the personal side, as you got to hear about my professional side. I'm going to just mention 3 fun facts about me. The first one being I am an inspiring screenwriter. So I attended American University in Washington, D.C. for grad school, and I graduated in 2017. The second fact is I developed the idea for Innovative Minds Media while attending grad school in 2016. It started off as a thesis paper, and it originally started off as Perfect Pitch Productions, which was going to be a branding agency that helped screenwriters be able to actually, be comfortable in doing elevator pitches and such. But it eventually transformed into a branding agency, which it was meant to do anyway. And the third fun fact, it took me 4 years to cultivate relationships and grow the audience that I have now on Instagram. So I'm hoping that you guys can be encouraged through my own journey, and that you can be encouraged through the fact that it does not happen overnight, and all you have is time, right? As long as you put the reps in. So just getting into a little bit of the table of contents, first and foremost, we're going to be looking at why choose social media? What is the importance of it? We're going to look at some of the benefits, an inside look at that, and how to define your social media goals. Second up, we're going to be looking at discovering the right platform for you. As overwhelming response in the chat goes, there are too many platforms out there, and we need to know what the differences are and what the similarities are. So we're going to dive into that. We're also going to be talking about how to choose your platform and the dangers of being on too many platforms. We're also going to take a look on how to keep it consistent and how to create a content calendar, which is ultimately your digital marketing strategy. We're also going to be talking about, last but not least, brand audits, how to measure what works, how to measure what doesn't. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So why is social media so important for my business? The one main reason is it humanizes your brand. With a strong social media strategy and the ability to create engaging content, marketers and small business owners can engage their audience and ultimately grow their business. So going ahead and taking a look at the inside look, what are the benefits of social media? So one, it can drive traffic to your website. That promotes marketing, that promotes visibility, and it also introduces your brand to new audiences. Once you find out which social media platform is the best for you, you can go on there and it presents you, it gives you visibility to that audience that you want to connect with. Number 3, it helps your business show up in search engines such as Google by using keywords. So it helps people to find you better. It also allows you to promptly review and address customer feedback, questions, and concerns, and ultimately promote connectivity. And it also gives your products and services a chance to be showcased. So how many of us want that? Okay, now let's look at how to brand with the basics. And I always like to say this because before we can even just kind of go on any platform that we want, or before we can even just dive in there, we have to look at the basics of branding. I always kind of liken this to when you start a new relationship, or like when you start dating someone new, the honeymoon season is in effect and everything is great and perfect and you're being wooed and courted, but then eventually the honeymoon season runs out, right? And so similar to that, if you don't develop a standalone brand strategy, starting at the basics for your brand, before you go on social media, you're kind of setting yourself up to get broken up with. So it's good to start with the basics. The basics meaning knowing your company's foundation is important. What's your company's mission? What sets you apart from your competitors? This is where the research comes in. What problem do you want to solve with your products and our services? What do you have that your competitor doesn't? And why should people choose you and your company? So these all make up the basics, and it's great to start here, because once you start here and have a solid foundation of these things, you're able to develop your content strategy and what you're posting on social media with so much more ease. It takes the pressure off of just jumping on social media like, hey guys, hi, I'm here. You know, I don't really know quite what to say, but I'm on social media. By us starting with those basics, the mission, the pillars, the values, the messaging is so much more clear. So taking it one step further and looking at how to define those social media goals, right? So how do we consider what's at the core of our company? What's your main focus in connecting? For example, if you're getting on Facebook and your target audience is there, what do you want to tell them about your company? What's so important? What's so special about you that you feel they should know? Do you hope to grow brand awareness, or do you have an event that's coming up, or a gala that you would like to drive attendees to, that you would like to sell tickets? Are you wishing to enhance communication with your customers? Are you looking to generate leads? These are all specific goals to think about after you develop those brand basics that we talked about in the previous slide. So now I would love to hear your feedback, and we're going to do a series of true and false questions here. So the first one up is, all social media platforms are created equal. And you can go ahead and utilize the chat function for your answer, true or false. And I see them flooding in. What do we have? We have a lot of false. We have a lot of false. Any trues out there? Lots of false. Okay. Okay. Great, 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 great. Lots of false. So let's see. Again, to state the question or the statement, all social media platforms are created equal. And how many of us have heard that statement once or again? So let's see if this answer is true or false. It's actually both. This is a true and a false statement. And the reason, because although there are so many social media platforms and they have such amazing benefits, no two social media platforms are the same. They have a varying number of users, different demographics, different features for marketing, but they all have the same ending goal, which is to promote connectivity and promote interaction. So I hope that clears up the myth. Okay, so moving on. So which platform should my business be on? You know, as we said earlier, there are so many that we haven't even addressed. We didn't mention Snapchat, you know, we didn't mention a lot of other ones that are probably looming, you know, around the corner. But my biggest takeaway in this is try not to eeny, meeny, miny, moe it. And if that's how you spell it, it's best not to kind of close your eyes or, you know, throw pasta up against the wall and see if it sticks. It really, the underlining goal for this is strategy and research. Where is your target audience? Where do you need to go for them? And to actually pick what platform is best for you, because it will be several, depending on where you want to go and where your target audience is. There are 3 simple steps that you can follow. And the first one is consider your company, your products and services, your brand personality, and your business type. They should all influence your channel selection. For instance, if you are, let's say, a company that makes designer scrunchies for teenage girls, when you're doing your research, TikTok is a great platform for that. You know, Instagram is also a great platform. A lot of visual, a lot of dancing, a lot of just, you know, it can keep you in the know when it comes to your company. So I would weigh what makes sense for your business and understand that what your company does impacts the options available to you. And as I mentioned, go where your audience is. That's where I use the Scrunch It, a popular line of hair scrunchies that appeals to teenage girls. TikTok will be a great platform for this. TikTok has really risen to popularity during the pandemic, like within the last 2 years. It's more than just a dance challenges platform. Well, I'll mention it in the other slides, but studies show that people spend about 90 minutes a day on TikTok. That is a lot of time. That is a lot of entertainment. So we will get to that in the next coming slides. But the last step is understand the different platforms and their uses. So knowing nuances is key. Each social media platform has its own personality and ways of communicating. Twitter is great for conversations and trending topics in real time, while LinkedIn is good for sharing professional expertise and having the continuing professional education courses that LinkedIn has available. So as we said in the earlier slide, no two platforms are alike. Okay, so here's the fun part. Here's a little bit of a breakdown on age demographic for each platform. And so I will go ahead and start, and this covers Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and TikTok. So starting off with Facebook, the largest age demographic is the dark blue pie square up in the corner, top corner in the right. And that is 25 through 34, the ages, and this is 31.5%. 43% are female, 57% are male. Then we have Instagram, once again, with the largest age demographic is 25 through 34. And that's 48.4% male and 51.8% male. The gray is Twitter, and the largest age demographic here is 18 through 29, which is 38.4% female and 61.6% male. Then we have LinkedIn, which is at the largest age demographic is, again, 25 through 34 age, 48% female and 52% male. And then last but not least, we have TikTok with the youngest age demographic being ages 10 through 19. And that is 61% female and 39% male. So this gives you an idea about the breakdown of the largest age demographic on each platform. And just to name a couple of quick stats, Facebook still remains the largest social platform among consumers and marketers. So this is good to know. Instagram maintains a firm hold on our Gen Zers and millennials. These groups make up roughly 2/3 of their base. Twitter status as a place to discuss events and gather breaking news make it a prime place to share content and drive discussions in real time. For LinkedIn, it still remains a platform of demographic of high earning business-to-business professionals. And TikTok users, as mentioned before, are spending nearly 90 minutes per day on the platform. So we know where our audience is from these demographics. So starting off, we're going to look at Facebook and how they are still the highest ranking platform. We all know Facebook was established nearly 20 years ago in 2004. It is the most downloaded app for the 2010s, so it's still running high in popularity. It has 2.9 billion monthly active users as of this year. Facebook, again, is the largest social media network, and it's very emotionally driven platform. Tons of friends, tons of family, great for connections. I think if someone were looking for, someone that you used to go to high school with, you first start on Facebook. And it's a great platform where you can share photos, updates, and just overall general news. So Facebook has a lot of features, and I just wanted to highlight 4 specific ones. The first one being Facebook Stories. Like Instagram, Facebook has a story feature, which can be utilized and viewed by your audience for 24 hours. So when you log into Facebook, the little circle that is your profile picture, if you click on the plus sign on that, you can upload pictures, you can upload videos, and your audience can view it within 24 hours. After 24 hours, it deletes itself. Facebook also has ads. You can boost a post. Boosting your post is a great option to promote your post to a wider audience. Marisa did touch on this on Monday. She did mention that Facebook has the option that you can really scale it down and make it, you can make it broad or you can make it narrow. Who do you want your audience to be? Facebook also has the option to host a watch party. This is very popular when Facebook has come out with lots of TV shows. You can host a watch party amongst different groups and different circles. And you can also use Facebook Audience Network. Now, this is where analytics come through. Facebook Audience Network, it shows data on actions taken, page views, engagement, and impressions that are made on your page. And just a note, the difference between impressions and engagement. Engagement is people actually commenting on your post, liking your post, and impressions is the amount of people that saw your post. So the amount of people that Facebook actually showed your post to. So best times to post on Facebook. So I got this chart, and just from the legend below, the lighter blue is the lowest engagement and the darker blue is the highest. And just from this chart, we see that the best times to post on Facebook are Mondays through Fridays at 3 a.m., Tuesdays at 10 a.m. and noon. And the best days to post on Facebook are Tuesdays through Fridays, and the worst days are Saturdays. Okay, so now we are going to get into Instagram. So Instagram is a runner-up with 2 billion monthly active users. So it's a platform where users can capture, edit, and share photos, videos, and messages. You can expand your reach with hashtags or highlight new partnerships. It is 1/3 of the most viewed Instagram stories are actually from business owners. And you can promote shareable content, and you can actually utilize the bio option in Instagram for websites and links. So Instagram features, so similar to Facebook, Instagram has the 24-hour feature for stories, but I thought it was so interesting that they have a shopping feature. So you can directly shop from Instagram. This feature allows your audience to be able to shop your merchandise straight from the app. They can shop it, they can add to cart, and then they can check out right there. So Instagram is very ideal if you are selling merchandise such as clothes, accessories, jewelry. It's a great platform to do that, and it's a great platform to showcase those kind of items with visuals on your platform. It has collaboration options, which helps you to be able to do a feature where you can co-create content with other influencers, or other business owners that you are connected with. Instagram also has a Reels feature. Now, Reels are kind of like 15 seconds or 30-second commercials. And they're little micro videos on Instagram. So they're similar to the ones that have actually helped propel TikTok to its notoriety and its fame. And you also have the option to remix a reel. Say if there's a really popular reel, you take it, you can split the screen, and you can record yourself in real time along with that other reel that's popular. And going live is actually one of the other great features of Instagram. Going live, you can broadcast from anywhere, any location, and you actually have the option to schedule it in advance so your audience knows when you are going live. And to look at Instagram best times to post, we have Mondays at 11 a.m., Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and Thursdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Best days to post are Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but the worst days to post are Sundays. So here we have it again, that weekends may not always be the best time to engage with your audience on Facebook and even on Instagram. People are taking a break. So ultimately people are, they need a breather. So I can totally understand that. Okay, so let's get to this really, really popular platform, TikTok. So TikTok right now has 1 billion monthly active users. And as you can see from the graphic I chose in the background, the two lovely ladies dancing in the back, because TikTok is such the dance craze, but I'm here to tell you that TikTok is more than just dancing. It's an incredible way to get entertainment and snack size bites. It is among Gen Z users, but TikTok has surpassed Instagram's popularity, with the most popular age being ages 10 through 19. And influencers are easily building on the popularity too with the app's features. So just to take a look at these features, we have, you can create a duet or a stitch video. This is when users use other popular videos by appearing side by side. So similar to Instagram, appearing side by side, are commenting on the original video, which creates a split screen effect. They have in-feed ads. When you log into TikTok for the first time, it has a For You page. So this is the first page that opens when you log in, and it features content that TikTok's algorithm believes will interest you based on your browsing activity. So similar to when you're on Netflix or when you're on Hulu, and those apps kind of pick up what you watch. Like for instance, if you're really into like crime TV shows, it'll start suggesting other crime TV shows for you. TikTok does the same thing. It'll suggest other videos for you based on your browsing activity. There are top view ads also, which is a marquee product for TikTok for Business. These ads, they actually appear once per day every time a user launches in the app. So the ads can last up to about 60 seconds with the sound on. And similar to Instagram, TikTok has hashtag challenges that your community can participate in. And just looking at the best times to post, we have actually it's all that's highlighted in green and pink. These are the best times to post. So if you are a night owl, if you go ahead and look at Tuesdays, we have 2 a.m., 4 a.m., but we also have, if you take a look at Thursdays, 9 a.m., 12 p.m., and 7 p.m. So what I notice here about the pattern is that the best times is really sometimes early in the morning, during a lunch break, or in the evening when people are home from work, if they commute, or once if they are remote, once they're off. And so now we have Twitter. So Twitter has 436 million monthly active users. And so this is where people go for news and live updates, and the users can check this fast-paced platform to kind of monitor and stay up to date with what's going on with tweets. So this is also a good place for consumers to, quickly communicate, like bounce in and bounce out with your brands and businesses that you follow. And Twitter has actually done a lot of progression. I remember when Twitter first started, or when it first, came to fruition, the character limit was 140. And that's not a lot at all. I mean, it was very hard to kind of, update your audience when it's so little characters, but now they've progressed from 140 to 280. So that's really great. It gives you more room to say your piece. Okay, and to take a look at some of the Twitter features, live tweeting, as we mentioned before, you can also embed your tweets on your blog. So this is really great. If you have an active blog on your website, you can embed the tweets into that blog, and it can showcase like your content in real time. Twitter also has what is known as Twitter Amplify, and it allows you to share real-time television content. For example, like videos of sports highlights or just different things like that. You can integrate with your brand or sponsors. And you can get paid. Twitter has a tip jar. So your followers, if they like your content that much, they can tip you with Cash App or PayPal, Venmo, or, you know, Patreon or Bandcamp, anything but cash, actual cash. So if they like your tweets that much, they are able to tip you. And just to take a look at the best times to post on Twitter, we have Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays at 9 a.m. So Twitter is early risers. Best days to post on Twitter are Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And the worst days, again, are Sundays. And last but not least, we have LinkedIn. And LinkedIn comes in with 250 million monthly active users. So LinkedIn is specifically designed for businesses and professionals. It's a professional site and it caters to continuing professional education. So users can rely on the site to expand their expertise and just learn more about the industry. And to take a look at some of the LinkedIn features, similar to Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn now has stories. They have stories that post up for 24 hours. But the only twist is with this is you can share what's happening in your professional life. You can develop a poll, similar to what we did at the beginning, and you can actually put this on your page. So LinkedIn polls, they are a great engagement tool, a really great engagement tool where you can receive feedback from your audience. You can schedule an event. This feature can help you boost the visibility of your online event, whether if it's virtual or whether if it's offline. And then last but not least, you have the option to organize a carousel post. So this is really great for my designers if you're really into creating flyers and creating your own event brochures. You can make this into a PDF document on your platform and upload it. It will display as a carousel and it's scrollable. So that's really neat when you can provide those visuals to your page like that. That's really giving your audience something that is engaging and that, sucks them in a way. And looking at the best times to post on LinkedIn, the best times are Tuesdays at 10 a.m. to noon. Best days to post are Wednesdays and Thursdays. And again, the worst days are Saturdays and Sundays. So I hope these big nuggets of information, I see the running theme here is that weekends are just not the greatest. If you're looking to post something, I guess, really significant to your business, whether if it is a webinar that you have coming up, a seminar, a big event, the traction should definitely be on the weekdays. And again, this is data roughly pulled from this year, but I would say that also, if you follow the best engagement times to post, that's a great start. Slowly but surely, you're going to see and you're going to notice different patterns for your own audience on your platform. You're going to see, oh, wow, people are really active on my platform on Thursdays at 5 p.m. when they're just getting off. So I'm going to take this as a small nugget of information and I'm going to take it and run with it. I'm going to engage regularly with my audience on Thursdays at 5 p.m. So I know that was a lot of information, but it was very valuable when you take a look and see like what's going on all these platforms. It's so many, and I hope that kind of breaks down a little bit about the best times to post. And I hope it gives you just extra courage on being able to take on that platform and being able to run with it. So let's talk about this myth buster. You need to be on all platforms. That is a myth. You do not need to be on all 5 platforms. And here are 3 reasons why being on every social media platform is difficult. The first one being you would be winging it. There's a lot of competition for people's attention, and only the best content is really getting seen these days because every social media platform has a different algorithm. So it would just, at the end of the day, it would take some research. Number 2, it is wasted time and efforts. It's very time consuming to create content for multiple platforms. And it's just really important to really narrow down the platforms that really work best for you. And number 3, you would be overcommitting. You won't be able to give your best self. It's very time consuming. And small business owners, you really have enough on your plates without wasting time being on, all 5, and then Snapchat and, other platforms that are looming. So here's some food for thought, and I would be interested to hear about this in the chat is, are you currently on all social media platforms? And if so, what do you find the most challenging about managing them all? Do you have a content strategy for each one? And if so, how is that working out for you? But I would love to really hear your feedback about if you are on all platforms. How are you managing it? Is it challenging? And if you are, please don't feel embarrassed to say so. It's totally okay. Totally okay. Oh, okay. So I see that not many people are. Okay, great. Okay, I have them all, but only manage to actively post on 2 platforms. Yeah. One thing I do notice about when you are on a lot of platforms is that one of them eventually goes ghost. You could be very active on Instagram and Facebook, but then not as active on Twitter. And Twitter is a real-time live event kind of platform. And if you're not engaging in the conversations that are going on daily with Twitter, then it's so easy to just post and ghost. So yeah, Instagram is tough. Instagram is really tough. Okay, we have some saying just Facebook and Instagram. Okay. Oh, Pinterest. Yes, Pinterest is also another great platform. Okay. So let's talk about more myths to debunk, okay? Millennials don't use Facebook anymore. As we know, this is a myth. We took a look at the largest age demographic, and we know that Facebook is still very popular. Second myth, only young people use social media. My target demographic, they're not social. That is not true, as we can see from looking back at the ages, it spans. Video marketing is a trend. Video marketing is very popular right now. It's the best way to get your audience riled up and engaged in what you stand for and your mission. Number 4, hashtags are essential for every post. This is a yes and a no. Hashtags specifically can help span your post and promote your post and on different eyes. But I would have to say you have to be very careful with hashtags. I would say maybe 10 or less. If you go and do, say you're on Instagram and you post maybe 30 popular hashtags, Instagram can actually flag you as spam. So they can actually flag you as spam. And so your post kind of basically goes in the trash can for the most part. It's not really seen, and it'll have some pretty low engagement. So that's something to keep in mind. Another myth to debunk, it's free to market on social media. Yes, and then no. Social media, you do have the option to boost an ad. And I think that should be looked into a lot, especially, like I said, if you have an event, if you want to drive some traffic to your website, if you're newly launching, if you want to create some hype around a social media campaign where you have a new website launching, this is a great way to boost a post. I am successful if I have a large number of followers. Wrong. a lot of people, if you go on Instagram or maybe even Twitter, there is a certain thing where people buy followers. You can buy followers and you can buy likes. I absolutely do not recommend that. That is not authentic. And, it just, a lot of people can notice sometimes if you have a large number of followers, but your engagement is low, the gig is up, you've been found out. So I would keep in mind to just grow your audience authentically, and there's never any need to buy any followers or buy any likes. And last but not least, it's not possible to generate any leads on social media. That is not true. One of the biggest great things about social media is that it's a community. And so it's very possible for you to connect with other like-minded business owners, other like-minded influencers, and cultivate relationships. And there you have it. Okay, so I have another true and false question. You have to post multiple times a day to get noticed. What do we think? True or false? Okay, we have a lot. Okay, this is a hung jury. We have a lot of false, but then we also have a lot of true. Well, we have a true and false. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Let's see. This one is false. You do not have to post just to post. Following your analytics to watch for engagement and noticing which posts resonate the most with your audience is really key. And this is how you begin to develop your strategy on the numbers alone. You can switch up your system by sometimes resharing a like-minded business owner's post. You can post a story, you can vlog, which is video and blogging at the same time, or you can just sometimes take a break and see what works and what doesn't. Okay, and we're going to switch gears for a second, and we're going to talk about how to keep it consistent. So just taking a look at like successful companies, they always keep it consistent. They're always checking their analytics. They're always seeing what works and what doesn't. So specifically when you want to kind of continue with the frequency, I would say you have to set your content goals. You have to gain some clarity about what types of posts you want to create and why. What's the main goal for each post? Is your messaging clear? Do you have a call to action? Is that clear? And from there, you can actually look into using a scheduling tool. It's fine if you want to post in real time from your phone, but then also you can look into ways on how to post, such by using just software apps like Planoly and Hootsuite or Later. These are great messaging tools. I know that Hootsuite takes about 3 social media platforms at one time. Planoly is really big for Instagram. Hootsuite, you can do Facebook, you can do Twitter. And then you want to keep a watchful eye. Are you checking the engagement on your posts? Are you making sure that you're not posting and ghosting? Are you keeping the conversation going? And if so, if in your post, if the engagement is really high, maybe you can take those questions and you can reframe another interesting post just from the questions alone. So here's where I like to talk about the power of producing valuable content through visuals. So each platform, they're very visual, especially Instagram. Facebook is visual. Pinterest, as we all know, is visual as well. So brand strategy is really important when posting. Consider what it is that you want to communicate and say it in a way that sets you apart from your competition, that you communicate a call to action to your target audience. Whether if that is to allow people to register for your webinar, seminar, or register for your event. Allow yourself a way to address these things in a way where it showcases your brand's personality. So as we look on the screen, all of these visuals alone, they're very eye-catching, and sometimes it's all in the way that you take a picture. It's all in the way that you use a filter. I know that iPhones are really popular for this, but so are Samsungs. Well, Galaxy, so are Androids. There's different features on phones where it makes it possible to edit a picture to your liking. So you want to think about that when you do post. I always like to say, especially on Instagram, that it's like a magazine. So when someone comes to your page, it's best for you to have a nice aesthetic look going on. You know, whether if you're coordinating with your colors, whether if you're posting a video, then a post, then a quote, those kind of patterns make a difference, and they're very visually appealing. Okay, so how can we continue to be consistent and take it one step further? So I always like to say, if social media blew up tomorrow, where else are you? And where else can you continue to keep the conversation going? So here are a few ways how to just continue to be consistent. And I would say by creating an e-newsletter or even a podcast. You can keep the conversation going by having your clients or potential clients follow you on your platform, and they can sign up for your e-newsletter that comes out weekly, bi-weekly, or subscribe to your podcast. You can also participate in events such as Ignite. You know, you don't have to let the connections and the conversation stop just on social media. We have to be inclined to follow up and, you know, send emails and attend networking events. Ultimately, creating relationships, that's what grows your platform. I've had it work for me because social media is a beast in itself, and you have to be well equipped in all areas of keeping the connection going. Also, check your social media messages. You know, not a lot of people are going to write on your post or engage. If they have a question, they're going to slide in your direct messages. So make sure that you are, as you check your own personal and business email, make sure you're checking your social media email. And number 4, get out your magnifying glass. There's nothing wrong with being a little detective and just peeping in on your followers and peeping in on your competitors and seeing what they are doing, and just conducting your own research and seeing, oh, that's awesome, that's great, just staying within the know, you know. And also, if you're keeping up with your followers, you can send messages offline to introduce yourself and connect with them and see if you can ultimately, you know, cultivate a relationship offline. Hey, hang out, go have some coffee and try to generate some leads. So creating a content calendar, this falls in line with your digital marketing strategy. So once you actually have your channel all set up, what's next? So the power of creating a content calendar, and I like to say that you can do this with Excel. It's that simple. You can use Excel, or you can use Canva, or you can use a Google folder, or you can even use a Microsoft Word doc to create a content calendar. As long as you have something which is a framework and it's visual. So a content calendar helps you revisit your goals. You can browse social media for inspiration on creating content, and you can drop it in a Google folder. This is where you can also keep evergreen content at bay. You can actually try to see what you've already posted and what works and what you'd like to repurpose. And then this is where you can decide on your publishing frequency. And we already touched on this earlier, but there is no need to post every day. If you're going to post only on the highest engagement times, that's great. You can decide on if you will be publishing in real time on your phone, or if you're going to be using an app such as Planoly or Hootsuite. This allows you to be open to shifting the content depending on a social media calendar that I will actually get into in a bit. And this allows you to monitor the engagement and feedback you receive based on your content calendar that was created. So I mentioned there's a social media holiday calendar that's published every year. So as you can see on the left, this is the one for 2022. And it's actually available on Google. All you have to do is search social media holidays and it comes right up. And for June specifically, we have, well, June coming up, we have a couple of them highlighted in purple, which is June 13th, International Children's Day, and June 20th, the first day of summer. But they also get very wonky, these social media days. They have everything from Socks Day to Hot Dog Day to Star Wars Day, which was just on May 4th. So if you are a small business owner, I would definitely recommend utilizing the social media holiday calendar. It's always a hashtag. So for instance, May 4th, hashtag Star Wars Day. And, you know, post that. And for instance, if you are, let's say you are a bakery owner and June 4th is coming up, hashtag National Donut Day. There's so much you can do with that. You can create a vlog of you making pastries and the behind the scenes of it all. June 21st is actually World Music Day and National Selfie Day. Everybody, every small business owner can take part in the National Selfie Day. So these are great ways for you to stay in the know and just kind of like boost your own content because you're participating in a nationwide, pretty much social media holiday day. So this is a great way how to, you know, market yourself and participate and just grow some engagement organically. And I just want to also mention that using hashtags related to the social media days work very well on a lot of platforms such as Facebook, especially Twitter, and especially Instagram. So I am interested to know if everyone or if anyone has ever used a social media day. And if so, did you see any rich engagement from that? If so, we can just go ahead and put out answers in the chat. We have all the time. Yes. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, we have not yet. Okay, great. It's a perfect time to get started. Yes, it is a great idea. It is definitely a great idea. I have personally used social media holidays for myself, and it's fun to partake in the challenge. It's very fun. And it's a great way on, you know, meeting other like-minded small business owners who are in the same industry as you are in. It's a great way to jumpstart a conversation that can ultimately generate to a lead. So now I wanted to humor you all and taking a look at some popular brands on social media, what they are doing, kind of how their content looks, their tone, their voice, and their theme. So first up is Wendy's on Twitter. So Wendy's is very popular on Twitter. They have a theme of roasting, very humorous. They actually won a 2019 Fast Company's most innovative companies on Twitter or on social media. So here's a little snapshot of a recent tweet. Someone said, and they were blurred out when I captioned it, but someone said in reply to Wendy's, "I'm going to McDonald's, what should I get?" Wendy's replies back and says, "A McRefund." So that's a little humor for you today. Wendy's is very consistent in their roasting humor. So they're very witty, very sarcastic, and they keep that going. Taking a look at Pop-Tarts on Facebook, they're very witty as well, not as sarcastic as Wendy's, thank God, but they like to appeal to teens and they're very fun. So the snapshot is, "Are your Pop-Tarts safe from friends and family?" So we have a little collage of Pop-Tarts that are being hidden in a bag of frozen peas, Pop-Tarts that are being hidden in a sleeve, and what appears to be a textbook, a school book. So that's very kid-friendly, that's very teen-friendly, and so they like to keep that going on Facebook. And then we also have Dove on Instagram. Their content theme is very female empowerment, soft colors. And so this just gives you a look at what some really popular brands are doing on social media, their messaging and how they're using it to their ability. And just to keep in mind, every social media platform has its own algorithm, and algorithm that is a way of sorting through the posts in a user's feed based on the relevancy and not the published time. So the social networks, they prioritize which content a user sees in their feed first by the likelihood that they actually want to see it. So again, it's doing a lot of focusing on your browsing activity. And we have another true and false question. My business can't make any money on social media. What do we feel about this? Is this true or is it false? Do we believe that we can't make any money on social media? And if so, go ahead and utilize the chat. Okay, we have a lot of false coming in. Awesome. Okay, so let's see. This is false. You are correct. This one is just absolutely false. There are now more channels to publish content, grow your audience, and there are actually 7 social media platforms that you can make money on. So we can go ahead and get into those. Those platforms are Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, Pinterest, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So with Instagram, you can make money through IGTV ads. They're like little short snippets of commercials. Instagram actually has a new feature also, subscriptions. So this one kind of kicked me in the gut a little bit because I was following some really popular influencers and now they kind of block their content. So you have to get a subscription similar to like a subscription with Netflix or Hulu in order to be able to see the full velocity of their page. So it's a great marketing tool really to reel in more people and bring in more money. So for TikTok, they have a TikTok Creators Fund. Also, you can make money through selling merchandise and sponsoring content. You have to be at a certain amount of followers to be able to gain those content deals such as. But I think if you're up to about 5,000 followers, you can make money by sponsoring content if you had a collaboration with someone like Dove, or if you're a trainer, you have a collaboration with maybe a protein drink. That's another way that you can make money. And with Twitter, I mentioned this before, there's a Twitter's tip jar. And you can actually also make money with a super follows. So with this mouthful of information and everything that encompasses social media, how do we measure what works? So I like to really look at the really brand strategy of it all, like brand efforts plus customer perceptions and expectations, and does that equal a successful brand recipe? And so what I really believe in is conducting a brand audit, and the frequency of how you do it really depends on you and your business, but this is a great time where you can pull analytics from your social platform. And you can either do this weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or even quarterly, and just contrast and compare which months did really well based on that social media campaign. What posts went really well based on the engagement, the number of comments, the number of likes, the number of reshares. Reshares is really important as well. You can also measure the conversion rates. You can measure the highest engagement. You can also measure your followers, the amount of followers that are coming in. So these are all numbers that matter. And because we want to make sure that with all the planning and the strategizing that goes within social media, we really want to make sure that what we're putting out, we're getting back, that our messaging and our posts and the things that we're talking about in our conversations are being received in a way that actually brings in some return on investment. You know, once you really get into the weeds of social media, the planning of the content, eventually you're going to want to look and say, okay, I've just spent the last 3 months posting consecutively. I spent the last 3 months driving this campaign or that campaign, or, you know, trying to drive traffic to my website. I want to see if that's been working. So sometimes not only Are you pulling analytics from social media? You're pulling it from your website. You're pulling it from your blog. So all those numbers matter. And here are 6 ideas on how you can tell your story through social media. So if you're ever feeling lost in terms of what am I going to post about? I'm on this platform, now what? You can talk about your greatest struggle as a small business owner. You can also talk about your greatest success and what it took to get you there. You can also talk about, you know, things going on in your industry and how you feel about them. That's a very personal video. A lot of people, you know, drive and really connect with when you're being personal, when you're being authentic. You can, like I said, share a personal story. You can do a vlog, a day in the life of a business owner, a day in the life of what you do. You can give tips to your ideal client on things you feel they should know, things that is really important for that industry. So there's so many different ways to tailor content nowadays. My takeaway from this is just make it personal, be authentic. People buy into that, you know. They want to see who's behind the business. So the more communication that you can give them, the better. So I believe this is our last true and false question. So we have social media is ever evolving. How do we feel about, or is it staying the same? True or false for this one? Okay. So we have a lot of very truths, some truths. Any falses out there? Okay, awesome. So yes, you are right. This is absolutely true. As the world evolves, so does social media. So all the time, everything is being changed all the time. Many of these changes are being made in an effort to make platforms more valuable to brands. So this increases advertising revenue. So my advice and takeaway is to try to be resilient and adjust with the ever-changing times, but to also stay true to your social media strategy, because sometimes when you switch up everything, it's easy to kind of fade away of what your business stands for and what you stand for, your mission, your values. So it's okay to try some new features and everything, but I always like to say, if you want to go on TikTok and that's where your target audience is, and if you're not a dancer, please don't make TikTok turn you into a dancer. You know, there are other ways that you can, you know, get your products and services out there in a way that can be well received. And my closing words for this presentation is, your worth is not wrapped up in followers. I know personally for me, as I mentioned before, I was starting on the journey with Innovative Minds Media on Instagram, and it took me 4 years to reach the following that I do have. And it, you know, social media can be very frustrating, and it takes a toll on your morale if you're putting out a lot of content that you feel powerful about. And in turn, you're getting back maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 likes, lucky to get even 10. So I would say just keep it going, give that same energy out there to those 10 likes, those 10 followers that you have, because that's what we would do anyway, right? If we're in a room and we're engaging with 10 people, do we not give them the same energy and the same, you know, connectivity as if we are in a room filled with 50 people? So I would say just continue to be genuine. Number 2, it doesn't have to be perfect to be good. Try not to get stuck in your brain to really, you know, let the wheels loose thinking about like, oh, is my content good enough? If you believe in it and if your messaging is clear, then that's really all you can do. And that's really the best you're doing. And number 3, experiment often and have fun with it. As I mentioned, a lot of these social media features are trial and error. It's good, like if you want to do reels on Instagram, I would say to practice before, check on your lighting, just check and just, just get your blood boiling, I would say, and just have fun with it. Don't make it a big thing that can actually create anxiety for yourself. Just have fun with it. And that concludes the social media and digital marketing strategy presentation. Thank you guys so much. I know it was a mouthful of information, but social media is a mouthful. We're always using our mouths, right? We're using our mouths, we're using our thumbs. And so at the end of the day, you can conquer anything that you set your mind to. I would just not get lost in the hype, but like I said, have fun with it and it'll have fun with you.
Thank you, Mattia. Excellent presentation. And we are so happy. I felt it from the screen that everybody was engaged and they really, really appreciated the information you shared with us tonight. Do you mind stopping the screen share so I can see everyone?
Absolutely.
Okay, because we are going to answer a few questions that I got in the chat for you. All right.
Did I stop it? I think I did.
All right. Thank you so much, Mattia.
You're
So
welcome.
I have a few questions for you that were placed in the chat. So the first one that we received was for Facebook postings. Someone is using their Facebook and their personal Facebook. So this is what this question is around. So for business and personal. So for Facebook postings, would it be that they can share their business info on their personal pages? Does it have to be different information? They have different audiences for their personal and their business. What do you say to that?
You can absolutely do that. A lot of people do that, especially on Facebook. I do that. I share a lot of my business content on my personal page because I would want those group of friends, those group of family members, those group of influencers that follow me on my personal page to know what I'm posting on my business page as well. So I do that from time to time, and that's totally normal.
You said from time to time, Mattia. That is the key word that I heard you say. So are you saying that not all the time would you replicate your business info onto your personal info? Is that what you're saying?
You know what? And I would not. A reason why I say from time to time is because I have my business page for a reason, and then I have my personal page for a reason, and I don't want to, I guess, overload that audience with my business page information. I can clearly make a post saying, hey, go follow my business page, to my audience on my personal page and have them go. And it depends on what it is that like if it's an event I have coming up or a webinar or seminar, I'll definitely post that on my personal, but I don't go back and forth. I just kind of try to, I guess, swoosh people on my personal page to go follow me on the business page as well.
Okay, thank you, Mattia. So I also have a question from, it seems like your biggest fan. She said this is the most helpful social media presentation she's ever attended. So wow, Mattia. And she also has a question for you. What are your thoughts on setting up catalogs to sell directly on Facebook and Instagram versus driving shoppers to your own website?
I think that's possible. But Instagram and Facebook, they have such great shopper features that they definitely should be utilized. And I'm not sure about creating the extra work. I think I would just probably use the features that are presented to me, especially if they're ready and available and free. So I would just use the features.
Okay, all right. So during your presentation, you talked a lot about different platforms that also serve the platforms, the 5 that you pointed out. Like there are platforms beyond the 5 that you discussed in detail. So I heard you say something about Patreon. I just wanted to check, is that mostly for bloggers and influencers, or can Patreon also be used for small businesses?
Patreon can definitely be used for small businesses as well, but it's like a mixed crowd, as you mentioned, Natalie. It's definitely for influencers too. So it is a mixed crowd, definitely.
Okay, thank you. About that question was for those that know about Patreon. If you don't worry about it right now.
We're gonna just add it in the bowl of all the other.
Okay. The next question is from Anjali. She wants to know, my Instagram is linked to my Facebook. Is it okay to have the same content on both platforms, or should I have different content on these platforms?
That's a great question. You know what? And that's a great feature that Instagram provides, is to have it where it's linked. So if you have a business page on Instagram that is linked to your business page on Facebook, that is absolutely fine, because as we saw and as we kind of touched base in the presentation, Instagram and Facebook has a similar audience, similar age demographic. So if you had maybe, and I don't know if they do this, if you had your Instagram linked to your Twitter or linked to your TikTok, then it presents a problem. But I think since the age demographic is so similar, then that's absolutely fine. And it actually takes away from the step of doing double posting on your Instagram and then on your Facebook. So that's absolutely fine.
Is there ever a time to separate the messaging, or if the demographics are the same, we're fine no matter what?
Yeah, well, I think this is where your digital marketing strategy comes in. And depending on, like, if you're going where your target audience is, then that's really important. But I would be kind of leery about separating the messaging, because if you are specifically on the platform where your audience is, then, or where your audiences are, depending on what platforms you are, then there's no need to really separate the messaging.
Okay. All right. And I know that we're running out of time, but I do have a few more questions I want to ask. And for those of you that want to stay for Q&A, I hope you will stay. So what would be the best way to understand Instagram algorithm in order to have more engagement?
Ooh, that is a tough question.
You know, a webinar, Mattia? Is that what you're saying? Just kidding.
You know what? Instagram, their algorithm, I swear it changes. Instagram has changed so much. When they first came on the scene, I want to say it was 2010. It was just a platform that you can post photos and connect with. It's like a visual vision board. But thus, Instagram has changed. Reels is very popular. Reels are those 15 seconds, 30 seconds type of videos. And if you're doing Reels, you really have to kind of like stay on top of which ones are popular, which ones are trending, what is the trending music or the trending sounds. So I would say to stay on top of the algorithm, you have to consistently do your research like every week, because it definitely can change every week. And try, once you kind of figure out what is relevant on that platform, because that's ultimately what the algorithm is, then you can tailor a little bit of what's relevant into your own messaging. That's really important.
Okay. 2 more questions for you. And then if we want to follow up, please do feel free to reach out to Mattia and us with your questions. Okay, so I hear more often that people are getting off of Facebook and then they're tuning into Nextdoor. Do you have any insights?
You know what? Specifically, what I know from Nextdoor is it's a neighborhood community. I like to call it the neighborhood Facebook. I have no insights on Nextdoor. I'm not really on Nextdoor. But what I can say is Facebook will forever be the solid common ground for consumers, marketers, and small business owners. So I would say, do not get off of Facebook if you are continually trying to drive traffic and to your community and drive traffic to your website and things like that. I would not get off of Facebook to get onto Nextdoor.
Right. If I may add, I'm no Nextdoor expert, but I do believe that a town of this size or even a small community, Nextdoor is really helpful for engaging directly with your neighbors and letting them get to know you a little bit more. I don't know if you need the strategy like you would for Facebook, Twitter, or TikTok, but it's kind of like, to me, a big bulletin board anyway. Kind of like, what's the next event that you're doing, drop in and then check in on your neighbors and let them know. So that's.
Yeah, you know what, Nextdoor is really helpful in terms of, like you said, keeping up with the community and your neighbors and what's going on in your neighborhood. I was on Nextdoor and they gave great advice on just different things like COVID testing and the nearest community center, what's going on there. So it's a great community platform, as Natalie said, for neighbors. It's very, it does not have the business aspect that Facebook has.
Right. Okay, last question for you, Mattia. Can you schedule posts on TikTok like you can on other platforms?
Oh, that's a great question. Can you schedule posts on a TikTok? Oh, wow. I think I have, I think I've been stumped a little bit. I know that you can draft reels. So if you can draft them, I would definitely have to do a little bit of more research to see if you can schedule a post on TikTok. Because I know that you can schedule on Instagram and you can schedule on Facebook. So it may give the opportunity to do that. It might, because TikTok wants to stay in the know. So it might give the opportunity to schedule posts as well.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mattia, for everything, for your extra time, the Q&A, the entire session. It was great and well received. And so that's a round of applause for you, virtual. I just want to remind everyone, Mattia actually asked us all to step up our game and branding, and that means coming through to the pitch event on Thursday, May 26th. So I'm just going to put that pitch sign up form right here in the chat, and still waiting for all of you wonderful people to sign up and get an opportunity to share all the lovely things you've heard from Mattia, from Marisa, and then our upcoming speaker, which will be on Monday night at 6 p.m. And we'll be talking about websites. By the time you're done, you should be really ready to pitch. By the way, the deadline for the pitch form is on Monday night. So think about it, but not too long. We want you to sign up. Do it now, just go ahead, try it out. I don't think it'll hurt. All right, thank you so much everyone for coming, and we will see you. We'll also follow up an email with everything that we talk about as usual, but it's so good to see you all and see you on Monday night at 6 p.m.
Thank you.